Art. Awesome. We'll let folks start trickling in. Perfect. We will get started. Hello, families. I see you all are trickling in right now. So happy to have y'all here. Welcome to our first official parent and family orientation. My name is Justin Barker. I'm one of the associate directors in the Office of New Student and Family Programs, and I will kind of be your MC for the evening, guiding you along this journey. But we have a lovely program scheduled for you all tonight, our Pratt family meeting. So hey, y'all, let's go ahead and jump on in. Actually, before we do that, we're going to have a Q&A at the end. So we have our presentation for about an hour or so, and then we will leave time at the end for you to ask questions. So there's going to be a Q&A feature. So if you see at the bottom of your screen there, you can ask your questions there, and we will answer those at the end. There will also be a short little survey from the New Student Family Programs Office that we'll have you all fill out, but more to come on that. But let's get this party started, my friends. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dean Lynch. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Justin. And I'd like to say welcome to the Duke family, to all the Duke families that are on this webinar this evening. I'm Dean Jerry Lynch. I'm the Vinnick Dean of Engineering of the Pratt School of Engineering, and I am excited to welcome all of you in about 5 weeks on Move-In Weekend in middle of August. So welcome to the family. And I think you're going to quickly discover, if you haven't already, that you are joining an amazing community of Duke Engineering, the very best engineering school in the world. Some of the things that make our program very special, as you're going to learn tonight through this orientation presentation, are a few things that are very distinctly Duke in how we train our engineers. The first is our commitment to experiential learning, learning by doing, hands-on projects that our students work on as they learn basic engineering principles, working with real-world clients, and really contextualizing that learning process in real-world applications and community source problems. The other aspect of our program that's very unique is we think very broadly about how we're developing our students. It's much more than just educating our students to be great engineers. We want them to be great people that are going to be productive professionals that are going to advance the common good. So it's about character formation and intellectual growth in many dimensions that go well beyond engineering. And then finally, our program also focuses on ensuring that our students grow to be future leaders that really are fearless taking on some of the biggest challenges going forward for our society. So that's what our program is about. And we are confident that your students that have been selected to enter this community are going to thrive in this environment. So I don't want to take up too much more time, but again, I'm looking forward to welcoming all of you in August during Move-In Weekend. Once you and your students settle into the Duke family, know that my door is always open. If there's any problems, any challenges, I'm always happy to talk to you or your students about their journey and about their experiences here at the Pratt School of Engineering. So without much further ado, I'm going to now pass the baton to my colleague, Associate Dean Lisa Hutel, who's going to, on behalf of the Pratt School of Engineering undergraduate education team, share with you a little bit of detail of our program before moving into the Q&A session. Again, welcome, and passing the baton to Lisa.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dean Lynch, and welcome to everyone. Give me just a second to get our slides up here. So I'm very excited that you all were able to join us tonight, and excited to share some information so you know a little bit more about what's going to come in the next month or two or over this next year. So welcome to all the class of 2029 Pratt families. We're so thrilled to have you and your students joining our community, and it really is a community, and you're going to see that throughout the presentation today. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Pratt School of Engineering supports your students academically, socially, personally, in their first year, but also throughout their 4 years, and also how you as family members can stay connected and involved along the way as well. So I'm going to begin by introducing our amazing undergraduate team, some of whom are here tonight and helping answer our questions. So thank you for that. We have a really amazing, dedicated team who is going to be supporting your students and working with you over the next 4 years. Here across the top row, starting on the left there, that's me, Lisa Hutel. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education and a Professor of the Practice in Electrical and Computer Engineering. We then have our 3 academic deans, Lupita McMillan, Carmen Rawls, and Ben Cook. And then our undergraduate director of student affairs, Tarina Argis. On our second row, we have our program coordinator, Heather Rabelais, our machine shop managers, Steve Arp, Greg Bumpus, and Mikey Hauser, and our staff assistant, Emma Albright. And this, again, is just an amazing, dedicated team. Your students will get to know this team and interact with them. They have probably already interacted with their academic dean. If they haven't, they will shortly. And we all look forward to welcoming your students and you to campus in just a few weeks. So I want to take a few minutes to talk and kind of elaborate on some of the things that Dean Lynch mentioned about what makes Duke and Pratt special. So at Duke's Pratt School of Engineering, our mission is to prepare students to lead productive, ethical, and impactful lives through a rigorous and purpose-driven education. And we achieve this through a number of different ways. This mission serves as the foundation of everything we do, and it really permeates both the curricular side and outside the classroom. From day one, it's going to shape the first year experience, and I'm going to talk in greater detail about what's going to happen in that first year, but it continues to guide our students throughout their academic Duke journey. And students see this mission come to life, again, sort of comprehensively through our support systems. And I'll talk extensively about our first year support systems and also how we continue to support students over their 4 years and beyond. As Dean Lynch mentioned, a real emphasis on hands-on curriculum that integrates technical skills with leadership, character, and real-world impact. And we also have a wonderful, vibrant, inclusive community that extends beyond the classroom and offers many opportunities for students to explore and apply and reaches every corner of Pratt life. So beginning with the first year support, our mission begins to take shape through the support structures in place for all first year students at Duke Engineering. And we have a really special structure and support system in place for first year students. Each student is connected with a team in that first year that helps them navigate both the academic, but also the personal and career aspects of their transition to Duke and to Pratt. And so that includes their academic dean. So the academic dean, which again, you may have already met with your academic dean, and if you haven't, you probably will have a Zoom meeting with them in the next week or two, is going to help oversee the academic progress throughout the entire Duke experience. And so that's one special aspect, is that your dean is your dean for 4 years, and you really have the opportunity to develop those deep relationships. They really get to know you and help guide you through an individualized pathway. In addition, every first year student will be assigned what we refer to as a 360 coach. And this is a first year faculty advisor who is really going to help guide the student, not just academically, although that's, of course, they're there to answer those questions, but also to help the students navigate all the other resources because it can be fairly overwhelming making the transition to college and just knowing what supports are out there and how to access them. So the first year faculty advisor, the 360 coach, we really like to think of them as a coach and a mentor in helping students and supporting them in all the various aspects of that transition. In addition, they will also have an A-team peer advisor. So having access to an older student who offers peer support and can give some insight into their own experiences as an engineering student is a really invaluable resource for first-year students. In terms of more disciplinary support, so we have consultants in every major who are available to first-year students, as well as directors of undergraduate study. These support resources are really there to help students as they explore their interests and try to figure out what academic pathway helps them to achieve their goals. So a student can reach out to one or more of them, and they are very accessible and happy to answer questions about various majors, whether it's about the curriculum or about potential internships or career pathways. Where do the students go in particular majors? So it's, again, another great resource for students in their first year, really exploring what their options are. And then beyond that, students also learn about available campus-wide resources during their experiential orientation in the week before classes start. And so those resources include things like academic support, such as tutoring, peer mentoring, faculty office hours, well-being support, such as mental health resources, the Student Wellness Center and counseling, and also career support for internship, career services, and research. And again, these support systems are designed to help the students build a strong foundation, and all of this support team is there to help students know where to turn when questions come up. Of course, the support goes beyond the first year. And so we like to think about long-term support and think about the evolving needs in terms of the type of support that a student needs. So while the first year is focused on helping students adjust and explore, to start making meaningful connections, the support continues beyond throughout all 4 years, and hopefully staying connected as alumni as well. So in the second year, this is after students declare their major between the summer of their first and second years, students will begin to establish their academic and professional identities, and they'll become more involved in specific programs or communities that that have resonated with them. As they continue into the third year, they begin to specialize and engage more deeply through advanced coursework. Maybe they'll get to do research in a lab, internships, and also taking on leadership roles in some of the organizations that they've really devoted their time to. In the fourth year, as students reach that senior year and start thinking about where they're headed, they begin to synthesize their experience, reflect on what they've done, bring together what they've learned both inside the classroom and out of the classroom as they think about where they're headed next. And then we continue that support after graduation. Our goal is to have students have fulfilled that Pratt mission, leaving with a strong sense of purpose, direction, and the confidence to be leaders in whatever path they choose. So now I'd like to take a little bit of time to dig into some of the curriculum, in particular the first year curriculum. So another way that the Pratt mission is reflected in the first year experience is through a curriculum, as Dean Lynch said, that emphasizes hands-on learning and an awareness of societal impact. So in the first year, students are going to take 2 core engineering courses, Engineering 101, our first year design class, and Engineering 105, our first year computing class. In Engineering 101, students work in teams and are introduced to the engineering design process through these team-based projects. It's a very experiential course with students solving real-world problems that are posed by our community partners, who they actually meet with and present their final projects to. And they learn foundational design and communication skills that they are going to implement and utilize throughout their 4 years. So it really forms that solid foundation and way of thinking about engineering as a design process. In the first year computing course, Computing for Engineers, similarly, there's a focus on practical applications and collaboration within the context of computing and data science. These courses are taught by some of our best faculty, accessible faculty, who, in addition to covering the technical content, also weave in these ideas and encourage students to consider the broader impact of their work. And so throughout this curriculum, Students are also introduced to the character forward framework, as Dean Lynch mentioned, where we want students to think about critically about the ethics, the responsibility, and the roles of engineering in society. So we're not just creating technically excellent engineers, but engineers who really think about the impact of what they're doing and how engineers can better society. All right, so going beyond the classroom, in addition to the academic support and the coursework, community plays a really important role in the student experience in Pratt. And you'll hear us talk about the Pratt family a lot, and it really is a wonderful community and a very supportive community. So outside the classroom, first-year students can explore a wide range of opportunities, clubs, organizations, design teams that reflect diverse interests. So whether they're looking to apply their engineering skills or explore their identity and culture, connect with peers, or just try something new, we encourage that. There are many, many different ways that students can get engaged and try these different activities. So the groups and projects offer opportunities to collaborate, build relationships, and also find a sense of belonging within Pratt and the larger Duke community. We'll say Pratt has over 30 student organizations that help students grow both professionally and personally. And the slide kind of highlights some of those. So starting with maybe our hands-on competitive teams, such as our Duke Aero team. You can see on the left there, that middle picture with our rocket. We've got our Duke Motorsports teams that build and race the cars. They're down there in the lower left corner, as well as other teams such as our robotics team that design, build, and compete in various competitions. So if you have a student who really enjoys that competitive and applied opportunity, we have many different opportunities for that. We also have a number of student chapters of professional societies, and these tend to focus more on career development and networking. This includes the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, the National Society of Black Engineers, the Society of Women Engineers. And this is a great opportunity. Many of these travel as groups to our national conferences for these different societies. It's also a great way to engage with our alumni and just generally develop that career side of things. And then we also have a lot of groups that focus either locally or globally in contributing to society and betterment of society, such as the Duke Engineers for International Development. We have 2 teams currently in Eswatini, one of them building a bridge and one of them working on a water distribution system. We also have groups that have a more local focus, such as Duke Femmes Plus, which provides our local Durham students with hands-on experience in STEM fields. Project Tadpole, which modifies toys for children with disabilities, and many, many other opportunities to really engage meaningfully with our surrounding community and also globally. So at Pratt, students are part of a community that's high achieving, of course, but also deeply collaborative and very welcoming. So taken together, all of the support systems, the curriculum, and the community all really contribute to how Duke Engineering's mission is reflected in the student experience. The first year is a period of significant exploration. So students are really adjusting to academic expectations, they're exploring interests, they're developing new skills. And so we really try to support that transition as well as the exploration, including things like offering resources for time management, opportunities to engage in extracurriculars and explore interests. We have mid-semester academic checkpoints with the academic deans and the faculty advisors to reflect on progress and make adjustments if necessary. We also have advising conversations with faculty and peers to plan for the future, whether it's coursework or activities, and to begin thinking about a major. We offer flexibility to explore double majors, certificate programs, study abroad, lots of different ways to really tailor the educational experience to a student's goals. And I think it's really important to emphasize that the first year is not about having everything figured out on day one, but it's really about using this year to build skills, confidence, and explore, and really begin to shape a path forward, and be excited about where they're headed. So that leads us to how you as family can be engaged as your students go through this transition. So as the students begin to settle into the first year, whether it's the academics, socially, personally, career-wise, you might be wondering, what's the best way for you to stay informed and involved? So we do encourage students to manage their own university experience, but there are definitely ways for families to stay informed and to access helpful information. So one of those is to sign up for the the Duke Parent and Family Newsletter. So this is a monthly email that's sent by the Office of New Student and Family Programs. It includes important dates. I'll actually highlight a couple dates in a minute, updates, and also insights into what's happening on campus. So in order to receive these communications, your student must grant proxy access in our student portal, which we call Duke Hub. And I won't go through the steps that are there on the slide. That is accessible through the newsletters that your student has been receiving. This is also being recorded, so you can look at that. But I do want to emphasize a couple of important points related to that. So first, it's important to know that the student is the one that controls what academic data each proxy can access by setting permissions. So permissions allow for customized proxy access levels. So for example, they might let you see the bills, but not the grades. You can have that conversation with them. Multiple proxies can have different access permissions, and that's all going to be managed in the student's profile, and they can take care of that. But you can see the various kinds of permissions that are available. So things like the university correspondence, like the parent and family newsletter, academic information like class schedule, grades, academic history, bursar information, the bills, financial aid, personal information, insurance information. Those are just the different categories that can be shared. Now, as a proxy, you can have view-only access, except you can pay bills, and with permission, you can update the medical insurance. But students are the ones who, only ones who can add, remove, or change these permissions. And we want to emphasize that FERPA and confidentiality rules still apply, even when proxy access is granted. All right, so now that we've seen how you can stay connected through those various resources, I just want to take a moment to highlight a couple of opportunities for visiting, starting with some upcoming breaks and some key times to reconnect in person. So here are some dates you might want to add to your calendar, put little stars by them. The first is so this is a short break. No classes on a Monday and Tuesday, so it's essentially a long weekend beginning October 10th. I do want to note that classes go through the end of the day, 7 p.m. on that Friday, so keep that in mind if with any travel planning. We would love to welcome you to campus for Family Weekend, October 17th through 19th. And this is a great opportunity to come once your student has settled in, get a sense for how things are going, let them show you around, meet other families, meet faculty, staff, and other students, learn more about the campus. So we really encourage and welcome you to come visit that weekend. And then we have our Thanksgiving break. Again, just note the classes do go through that Tuesday evening, and our winter break with finals ending on December 15th. Your individual students' final schedule may differ, but do keep that in mind again when you're thinking about travel planning. So these are all great touch points for reconnecting with your student or coming to visit campus. Some additional ways to stay in touch. So as you think about possible visits, we also want you to know how to reach us if other questions come up along the way. So you can follow us on Instagram, either at the Pratt Deans, which is going to be more focused on specifically on the undergraduates, or Duke Engineering, which is more broadly the entire school. You are welcome to call us, the phone number there. And if you scan the QR, you can access the Duke Engineering Now monthly newsletter and see what's going on again across Pratt. So hopefully this was all some helpful information, but now I want to transition and I want to welcome Kate Studheit, one of our current students. Kate is, there's Kate. So we're going to have a Q&A, and I want to thank Kate for joining us tonight. She is a BME major, class of 2026, also co-president of the Engineering Student Government, and it's been my pleasure to work with her over the past year in her role with Engineering Student Government. Amazing. And thank you, Kate, for joining us and sharing us the student perspective about the first year experience. So let me stop this. All right. So I have a few questions for Kate. So let me start off, Kate, with the big one here. How did you navigate the transition to university life? This is a big change, right? And what helped you feel most at home during that first semester?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you for that lovely introduction. You gassed me up. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so hi y'all. My name's Kate. As Dean Hutel said, she can do a better introduction than I ever could. But yeah, I am a rising senior studying biomedical engineering. And I'm originally from Davidson, North Carolina. So if anyone's in the area, please put that either in the Q&A or the chat, because I'm a big basketball Steph Curry fan because he went to Davidson. But an even bigger Duke fan. But to actually answer the question, first, I'll probably take it in two parts. The first one about navigating transition to university life. I mean, as you said, it is challenging because it's incredibly new. However, I think that's also the fun in it as well. On the flip side, I would say my biggest advice, which I'm only 2 years out of it, 3, I don't know. I'm an engineer. I should be good at math. But my biggest advice is probably just to have grace with yourself and try to make the most of things. Not everyone's path is the same. In fact, no one's is the same. And honestly, I think that's one of the coolest parts of college, right? Is that like, it's likely most people's first time living alone or trying new things or being away from family. So I think it is like a really unique time in your life where you kind of get to be selfish in a sense, right? Because everything you do now is totally up to you, right? The classes you take, the extracurriculars you do, how you spend your time. So that can definitely be like a little daunting to try to navigate. But it doesn't all happen at once. You definitely will learn as you go on. You'll learn what fuels you, what extracurriculars you like, what communities you find, and just everything like that. And I think it's also important to get like a wide array of experiences and advice. Even take mine with a grain of salt, right? Because everyone's college experience is so different. And it's a little scary coming into college, but especially to Duke, just because everyone is such high achievers like y'all selves. And I'm so excited to see what y'all do. But everyone was such a high achiever and has done so much and worked so hard to get here. And so it, on one hand, creates a really cool community of such passionate people. But on the other hand, it can be scary because at the beginning, everyone's like, go, 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 like trying a bunch of different things. And it sounds like everyone has it figured out and they're doing a million things, when in reality, no one has it figured out. I don't have it figured out. I don't think I'll ever figure it out. And so I think it's just mainly having grace with yourself and trying to open up your eyes to things and just do things for yourself. One of my good friends, she graduated now, but was also on E-Team, used to say that at Duke, you can do anything, but not everything. And I think that reigns pretty true. Just knowing like what fuels you, what things you like to do. And not every day is going to be the best day ever, right? Things are going to go wrong. It's your first time trying to figure it out. But honestly, I think some of the best like memories and life lessons come from that. And also when that does happen and when I'm like in a rut or not in the best mood, I think for me is just like trying to remind myself that like a lot of things have had to gone right for you to be able to get an education, let alone one of the best ones in the world here. And so I sound like my dad. That was his advice, to be totally honest. But I think it really reigns true. So yeah, that's how I navigated it, I would say. Sorry, that was kind of all over the place.
Oh, no, that was wonderful. And I think, a theme coming out there is that trying lots of new things. And I love you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And so really emphasizing that this first year is a lot of exploration. And it sounds like you did that. But you've eventually obviously found some passionate things and continued with that. Can you talk a little bit about the academic side of things? That can be a little scary too, transitioning into that first year and, now you're taking all these engineering classes and math and physics. So can you talk a little bit about what that academic workload was like and maybe some resources that you found to be helpful in managing that?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I feel like all throughout high school, all of my teachers were like, "Oh my gosh, like not this wouldn't fly in college." Honestly, y'all will be fine. Like honestly, college classes, in my opinion, are way better than high school classes. I think you really get to build even a better relationship with the professors and with the TAs or teaching assistants in the classes. So if y'all are worried about that, don't be. I'm here to say that all the professors are great, all the TAs are great. There's so much support everywhere. Um, One of the things that I really leaned on my first year, especially in STEM classes, is that there's this program called SAGE, which is specifically for like science. I want to say it's science, math, and maybe like tech classes. Someone can definitely fact check me on that. But basically, you have like a peer tutor who went through the class, I would say within the last 1 or 2 years with that professor most of the times. And so it's really cool because they went through the course, they know exactly what's expected, what topics are covered, how to describe it maybe a little bit differently than the way the professor described it, just in case that didn't really resonate with you. So I think SAGE definitely helped me. And honestly, our academic resource center is great. They'll literally meet with you for anything, anytime. I've had virtual appointments, I've gone to people's offices, I've done the whole 9 yards. And every experience has been good. In terms of like on my own, trying to navigate the academic workload, first year I think is really cool because you kind of have like the set 8 classes that you're taking, which I think for me was really helpful, at least because I didn't know where to start. I had a lot of friends going to other schools and they were like, I actually don't know what I'm taking. I don't even know if this relates to my major at all. And so it's nice to know that like you have classes that will count for your major like off the get-go. Um, which has been awesome. So in the first year, you'll take Engineering 101, which Dean Hutel explained earlier. Super cool class. What an awesome experience to be able to have, especially coming into an engineering degree. I feel like it's very rare that you have a bunch of like 18-year-olds running around like using power tools after like proper safety training. But like using power tools and having access to like laser cutters and soldering machines and everything like that. Because coming into Pratt, I didn't have an engineering background at all. So it was cool to like really dive in like with 2 feet and see how things go. And it's really cool to see like the tangible, like hands-on aspect of it. To this day, I say Engineering 101 is my favorite class I've ever taken. Then everyone's like, Kate, say something outside of Pratt. And I was like, I can't. Like I'm an EGR 101 groupie. I TA'd for it. I absolutely loved it. And it's just, I don't know, so valuable to see something so vague like a problem turn into a tangible deliverable that like you're proud of. That's just like a really unique experience that I feel not a lot of people get the opportunity to have. Another cool thing is that a lot of the students, especially in Pratt, go through the same classes that first year. So like Bio 101 or Chem 101 or 110. It's cool to see familiar faces. I think that not only helps like build community, but also just like makes you feel better, like having someone sitting with different people. So yeah, academic workload is really fun.
Can you briefly say what your EGR 101 project was?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you for asking. So okay, this is really niche, but if y'all have ever seen like a handbell choir, like ding 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 at like, I don't know, like a holiday performance or something. My client was Gigi's Playhouse in Cary, North Carolina, which is a nonprofit organization that does like free therapeutic programming for individuals with Down syndrome. And they have a world-renowned handbell choir. And so basically, our client, she came to us and was like, hey, our performances for our handbell choir these days aren't the most like in sync as we want them to be. Maybe that's because people aren't looking at the cards, which was kind of their mechanism for signaling when to play, like which handbells would play. Or maybe it's just the people weren't interested, or maybe it was just a multitude of different factors. So she came to us and asked my team. It was me and 4 other students. And they were like, hey, just any way to make this performance more cohesive would be great. And so what we did is we made like a little grip handle that went over the handle of the handbell. How many times can I say hand in a sentence? But a little like grip that went on the handbell that would deliver a physical stimulus every time that you would ring your bell. So you wouldn't even have to like look at the conductor or anything or look at anyone else, because you would feel it start like buzzing in your hand and then you could ring. It was really cool. I learned what Arduino was. If you don't know what it is, no worries. You'll figure it out. I did. Got to use the laser cutter, got to cut wood. It was a very interesting experience. I loved it. And I am like bonded to the group. Like I actually was calling one of them yesterday. Like, honestly, it was a really cool experience. And to do it with people you know are going to work hard as well is like a very welcome change from high school.
Awesome, awesome. So that's where you started. Can you talk a little bit about the path you went through to choose your engineering major? Yeah, and how you went through that exploration.
Yeah, so honestly, I have kind of a boring answer, so sorry in advance. But I came into Pratt either wanting to do environmental engineering or biomedical engineering. My thought process for that was honestly, I live in the environment and I have a body, so like wouldn't it be cool to figure out how those work? And so came in pretty open-minded. I ended up taking Bio 201, which was the intro class for like a BME major, like the exploration class a little bit. Not sure if it still is now. Okay, perfect. Well, it's an awesome class. I've always been like a science person too, especially a biology person. And I was like, biomedical sounds cool. And I've always been interested in like the med tech field. And now I'm working in it this summer, which has been really cool to see like from a different perspective. And I'm really glad I chose BME at the end of the day. But really it was because I took Bio 201 and liked biology, and really wanted to work on med tech devices. And also at Pratt, we have like 2 different environmental tracks in a sense. So we have like a civil engineering major on the environmental track, and then we also have environmental engineering. And honestly, I didn't know the difference and I didn't know which one I wanted to pick out of that. So I was like, but I do like biology. So I ended up doing BME, loved it now, 3 years into it. Sad to say I only have 1 to go, but it's been awesome.
Excellent. So let me wrap up. I have one more question, maybe outside of the academic. So you are co-president of Engineering Student Government. You've got, let's see, a markets and management certificate. You're an e-teamer. You've done a lot of different things. How did you go navigating and finding kind of your community and what you were passionate about, and really fulfilling kind of the beyond the academic side of things?
Yeah, good question. I think honestly, coming into college, that was the thing I was most scared of, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, Pratt is a pretty like structured program in general. So I was like, I know I'll get a good degree, just will I have fun doing it was kind of my main thing. And if you can't tell y'all, I love to yap, right? And so I was like, I hope I find people who love to yap with me in the engineering school. I have. But I think it's really cool just starting off in your first year living on East Campus. As y'all know, it's a first year only campus pretty much. And so it's a really cool experience. I think it really helped breed a unique community just because your dining hall is all first years, the library is all first years, like all the buildings there, pretty much after like 7 or 8 p.m. is just first years. And so it made me really comfortable with like going and sitting with random people in the dining hall for dinner or lunch or even breakfast, which I would have never done like 4 years ago. And so it was cool to kind of like build up that confidence and sit with new people and get to just honestly learn about other people. Also, you'll have O Week, which has been a really cool experience. I was in Project Lead, which is how to be a leader. So if you want to be a leader, take P lead. But so that was really cool. And also I think it is scary, not gonna lie, but realizing that everyone is in the same situation, right? Like I don't know anyone from high school or like neighboring high schools who like were my year at Duke. And so it was hard. But then at the end of the day, I was like, well, Kate, no one really knows anyone. Like, and if you know anyone, you know 1 or 2 people. And so everyone seems like they have like the best friends in the entire world, but everyone's still trying to figure it out, right? I don't know, it's a little thing like comment on human nature just in and of itself, which is interesting. But you'll meet people in O Week, you'll meet people in your classes, and just also recognizing that like not everyone you meet is going to be your best friend. In your O week group, maybe you'll find your best friends, maybe you won't. I was really fortunate that I'm a Clark scholar, and so if there's any Clarks out there, hey. But we were all in an O week group together, so that was really cool. And then also just recognizing that like community looks different for everyone. It doesn't have to look like a huge friend group or even a club or even like people in your classes, honestly. Community can be found in like mentors or like lab partners, people at the gym. Like it doesn't have to be like an all or nothing friendship or relationship or anything like that. And then in terms of trying to get involved on like an extracurricular standpoint, I was big into the club fair. The club fair was awesome. I think this year it's August 29th. Really cool. All of the clubs, like not only in Pratt, but just in general, go to East Campus. So y'all's home. We enter y'all's territory. And they kind of just give like elevator pitches. Some have like free merch, some have just like interest flyers. So that's a really cool experience because literally everything is at your fingertips. I think one cool thing about Duke is that they make it really accessible, just for anything, but I think that also speaks to it. So that's a really cool experience. And honestly, like what everyone normally does, or at least what I did, was I went and like signed up for anything that seems interesting. My kind of thought process behind it was like it's easier to sign up for things now, or it's easier to like unsubscribe from things later than try to find the right people to sign up for things that seem interesting later on in the semester. So that's kind of what I did. And also it's just such a cool college experience. Like that was one of the first times where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in college. Like there's so many different people. But yeah, and also just it takes time, you know, but y'all will figure it out. I have no doubt. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight and sharing that student perspective. As you can see, we have amazing students. Excited to welcome you to campus here. I'm going to turn this back to Justin to continue with our Q&A. So feel free to ask your questions and we'll give you some answers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate it. Kate, also, you are a rock star. Just want to say that you are the epitome of a Duke student, just doing all the things. And also, shout out P. Lee. That is one of the projects I'm advising this summer. So, yeah, shout out to both of y'all. This has been great. My friends, it is time to ask all the questions. I know Lisa did the best job, but I know y'all have some questions in y'all spirit. So, let's see those questions fly. And it looks like the chat feature is enabled, but if y'all could put it in the Q&A, that would be great. No questions. The first question we have is, I see resources online about study abroad, but any color commentary? Can you elaborate on that for me, Matthew? Next question, when do Blue Devil Buddies come back? Oh, y'all, here we go. They're fired off now. Okay, question for the team. I've heard rumors that Pratt students will no longer be able to use AP scores to place out of certain history and or English courses this year. Is this correct? So anyone from the Pratt team, feel free to come off camera and give us your insight.
Yeah, so for the new Trinity Arts and Sciences curriculum, Pratt students will need 5 arts and sciences courses for the arts and science requirement. And yes, AP scores will not count for those 5 courses. I'd also like to answer the study abroad question. I'm currently in San Jose, Costa Rica with the Pratt and Costa Rica program, and we have a math and chemistry course down here this summer, and 24 students, both Pratt and Trinity. And about 30, about 30% of our students, or a little more than 30% this fall, are studying abroad. Typically, Duke students in general go abroad junior fall, because Duke basketball plays in the spring, and a lot of Duke students are basketball fans, and they want to be around for the spring semester, or their friends are basketball fans, and they want to be, at Duke, abroad in the same semester. So that's a very popular semester go abroad. And this fall, Pratt students are going to Australia, Spain, UK and Ireland, England and Ireland, Copenhagen, one student going to Japan. So there's some places that are very common for Pratt students to go abroad, and those places are relatively easy to find courses that count for Pratt. And then other places, like the student going to Japan, he had to do a lot of legwork to make that work for him. He really wanted to go to Japan, and so he had to find courses that would work at the university that he wanted to go there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. Appreciate that insight. Let's see. Perfect. What? So it looks like we're going to dispel a rumor at the moment. So folks are saying, Pratt students typically have more work than Trinity students. Is it just the course load?
I fear it's my time. But good question. I think it really depends. A lot of engineering classes have like labs associated with them, especially in your first 2 years, which does not feel like 3 hours in the moment. But they are like normally 3 hours once a week or once every other week. However, this is the case for like Trinity classes too, especially the science ones like chems and bios and everything, which Trinity students also have to take. So hours wise, it can add up, but when you're in there, it's like very hands-on, like you're having fun. It's like an interesting lab. So yes, it may take up more time, but if you're doing what you love, is it really time? So hopefully I dispelled the rumor well enough. But
You did, Kate. That was so great. Thank you.
also, thanks for your kind words. You're eating it up.
You are a rock
Hey,
star. I just want the people to know.
you're a rock star. Everyone
Oh,
on here is a rock star.
thank you so much. Um, all right. Let's answer this one. If a student has AP credits that exempt them out of chemistry, calc, and compute, I don't know why I can't say that word. But will they still be able to create a community if they aren't in those classes with other first years? Or should the student take those classes for the community development aspect?
Maybe I can answer that. So Pratt students come in with a variety of AP credits, and that's a good question for your student to talk with their dean about during the advising meeting, because different. The answer is not the same for all 350 students. There are lots of students who retake math or chemistry because they didn't feel great about their math or their high school experience, and they want to take the Duke course. There are other students who use that credit and take a more advanced course, and that's a really like each department provides a lot of resources to help students decide that, but there's not like a one size fits all answer for that question. And so I think that's great. That'd be a great question for your student to talk to their dean about.
I'll just add one more thing to that as well. So all incoming students will take Engineering 101. That's our first year design class. And within that class, they're going to be working on hands-on projects, and they'll be forming teams there. We coordinate the registration and the teams that are organized in that class, along with, I mentioned the 360 coach, the first year faculty advisor, and the e-team peer advisor. And so we really form a community with a subset of students there. So no matter what, every student is going to be part of at least that community. So they won't miss out on that.
Great. Thank you, Ben and Lisa. Appreciate that. Next question. What is the usual first math class for first year Pratt students? Can AP math courses such as AP Calculus or AB or BC taken at high school be accredited? Is this even recommended, or do you recommend retaking classes?
I, I, I think it's a similar answer to my last answer. There's not a one size fits all recommendation for students. There are calculus self-assessments on the math department website that students can take to see, like, do I understand all the material in this class? Do I feel comfortable going to the next class? And like I said, a lot of students do retake the last math course they had in high school when they get to Duke. I mean, you have a lot of math to take in engineering, and setting yourself up for success is a good plan.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. All right. Can you speak to typical experiences with co-op or internships at Pratt?
I can start. Considering I just came home from mine. But I think it really depends on the person. In between my first and second year, I was fortunate enough to go to Cape Town, South Africa to do a data science internship, which was such an amazing experience. That was through my scholarship. So I'm really fortunate to have had that. And then last summer, I took 4 summer classes, which honestly was such the move, in my opinion. Summer classes are a little different than your traditional semester-long classes. So the summer classes are 6 weeks each, and there's like 2 summer semesters. And you can take normally a max of 2 classes per. So that's what I did. And then at the same time, I worked for Seneca Devices, which is a startup in the RTP, actually founded by a Duke alum who was BME. And that was a really cool experience. Getting that internship was honestly a really fun experience. I was applying to a lot of big companies going into the summer between my sophomore and junior year. Didn't see much luck of that, just because I would say bigger companies typically prefer to have like a student who's gone through at least 3 years of a bachelor's, so like in between your junior and senior year. And so I started applying to a lot of like local things. If y'all don't know, Durham is part of like the research triangle between Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. And so a lot of grads, not only from Duke, but also NC State and UNC Chapel Hill kind of get together, have a lot of startups. It's really cool. It's kind of like a think tank. You wouldn't expect that to be in North Carolina, but it's been a really cool experience. And so I got to work at a startup there doing like production engineering work, which was more like mechanical engineering focused. It was like a lot of CADing and a lot of computational things, which was a really cool experience. It was also cool to see like how strong the Duke alumni network was. Literally, I found the job because I'm pretty sure the alum who is the CEO, he reached out to someone in Pratt and was like, hey, can you just like send to all the undergrad students that there's an open position for an internship? Actually, funny story, there wasn't even a internship position. It was asking for a full-time role, like someone who was graduating. I just didn't really read it. And so I gave him my resume, and he was like, okay, it looks like you're not graduated yet. But we could have you as an intern. And I was like, great. And so that was just a funny anecdote. So even if you're not the smartest about it, you can still find a job. And then this summer I'm working for Stryker, which is a larger med tech company up in New Jersey, which is really cool. I'm doing like marketing and like data insights, data science there. So it's really cool. Honestly, I think any engineering major is pretty versatile in the directions you can go. I think it intersects with a lot of different business functions. So there's a lot of support if you want it as well. Also, a lot of professors have been great mentors in trying to help me narrow down like what I want to do and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Uh-oh.
What are some strategies that you use to manage tough classes with so many new club opportunities? It's easy to see all these high achievers doing all the things.
Yeah, as I said earlier, everyone's cracked, you know, everyone's really smart coming into here. You worked really hard. And so it's a little daunting at first, but you will figure it out. I think as the years have gone on, I've definitely gotten more busy because I've really like honed into the different opportunities and classes that and extracurriculars that have made me like, I don't know, like fuel me and doesn't feel like work necessarily. And so even though I've gotten busier, the time management just gets better as well. I think it's one of those things that you learn by doing, which I know probably isn't the nicest answer in the entire world. But also just recognizing that first year, especially, I didn't do this and I really wish I did, was carve out time specifically for me and like to refuel. I have always considered myself an extrovert, right? Like all these things. However, I realize that sometimes I'm more of like an ambivert or introvert in the sense where to like really ensure that like I'm taking care of myself in the way that like I want to have me time is very just alone and by myself and antisocial, and that's kind of what like fuels me to be so social. And so I learned that the hard way. So first year I would definitely recommend trying to take some time for yourself. And then also, even though the first few weeks will feel crazy, it's crazy for everyone, even upperclassmen. And so the first few weeks, everyone's just trying to get acclimated to campus. So I'd say definitely use those to your advantage. Um, and just really like go hard for a few weeks, and then it's pretty unsustainable, you'll find, at least that it was for me. And so you'll find out what you like doing, what you don't like doing. In terms of classes, the view I had was I always put academics a little before extracurriculars or jobs. That was just my mindset going into it. It doesn't have to be yours. But that definitely helped me when I was like creating my schedule. I have like a to-do list of everything I need to accomplish throughout that day. And I even include like small things like get ready, wake up, eat lunch, because I'm like, at least I did something today, you know, at least I checked something off. And so yeah.
Awesome. That's so important. Thank you. Appreciate that. Y'all, we have just a few more minutes left, and I see folks are wrapping up some questions in the Q&A. But while we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and drop our quick survey in the chat for this session. I'm also going to share a quick QR code with everyone. You can just point your phone to this QR code and take the little survey. My friends, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. All of our webinars will be recorded. Just give us some time to get them up on our website. We'll also send them out in our newsletters. But yeah, fill out the survey. And if y'all have any questions, y'all can always reach out to us at familyprograms@duke.edu. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. And we'll see you at the next one. Also, thank you, Pratt team. We really appreciate it. Everybody have a good one. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, let me stop recording.